She said, I'm going to schedule you for a spinal tap tomorrow, but I want you to go do an emergency MRI right now. So she scheduled me to go do an emergency MRI right then. So of course, you can just walk over to the MRI part of the VA. It's big, it's huge. So I walks over there and boom, she already had me scheduled in. Boom, they hooked me up, did the contrast, hooked me up, put the contrast in, and to contrast the whole MRI image. You know about all that. So now, okay, I did it, and then they told me to go back to see her. So I guess because of the emergency, they do the pictures right then. They do pull up the image right then. So they sped it up. She sped it up. So now, by the time I get to her, and by the time she calls me back, she already had my images, both of them up on there. She had the old ones and the new ones up. And when she said, "Look at this," I had more spots on my brain than I did the first one. So
That's
now
scary.
I'm like, what in the world? I'm up here looking at it like this, still trying to check out one hand on my. I'm like, what is going on with me? What's going on with me? She said, I think you got multiple sclerosis. She said, those spots, she said, they're lesions. You have lesions. There are more lesions on your brain than I did the first time. So I said, wow. She said, but look, I'm gonna make and we're gonna get this all cleared up. I schedule you for a spinal tap tomorrow. My spinal tap was tomorrow, the next morning at 08:30, early in the morning, early. I said, okay, I'm gonna stay down here in Long Beach because I lived in Santa Clarita. Now, Long Beach is an Orange County area. So I stayed at a friend's house at Orange County so I could just drive, so they could drive me to my spinal tap because you can't drive after that. I needed somebody to take me. So I stayed at my friend's house in Long Beach, area, in Orange County, and they took me to the spinal tap. I did my spinal tap early that morning at 8:30. That's when they had to stick a long needle down your back, pull the fluid from your spine, and test the fluid. I can say this, man. I'm not a female, but that had to be close to childbirth. Like, that is not. That's probably one of the worst pains I've ever experienced.
Oh, it sounds horrific, man. It sounds horrible.
Yeah. And then you can't move. So now you got to hold on your stomach. You got to lay there and accept what this man and this person is doing to your spine, man. You got to accept it. And you can't move because one twitch, one move, paralyzed for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm in tears. It's man, forget about it, man. Like I said, I don't wish this on my worst enemy, man. It was horrific. So I did the spinal tap that morning. I was with my friend still at a gas station or something. We was doing something, getting something, putting gas in the car, or something like that. And then all of a sudden, I lost all feeling of my whole body right at the gas station that night, that evening. I could not feel my body, man.
So you could still move around and do things, but you just couldn't feel anything.
No, I fell. I dropped to the ground and everything, man. And I started having seizures. The person that with me was like, I was having seizures. I was having seizures. And then when I came back to, I told him, take me back to the hospital because I was out. When I woke up, I peed myself, everything, man. It was disgusting. It was embarrassing, So they rushed me back to the hospital, to the VA, because we were still close by. They ran me back to the emergency room, and I'm in the car, shaking, convulsion. I just couldn't control my body, man. So whatever they did, whatever that spinal tap did, it enhanced it. It okay, I don't know, whatever that spinal tap did, but it made the MS act a fool, man.
Yeah.
It acted a fool. So now I go back to the hospital, couldn't even walk I couldn't walk. They had to get a wheelchair. The wheelchair in. They rushed me back to the emergency room, rushed me in there, man. And then after that, I was in the hospital for 8 months, man.
Dude, you're extremely lucky. And when you say God was with you, you got to think about this. You went to the hospital and they couldn't figure it out. You go back after another episode and this woman figures it out. But let's say she didn't figure it out. You may have that seizure at home. You may not be here talking to me,
Yes, sir.
you know?